26 seconds to go here in the first half. 20-20 is our score. Evart with the ball at the 32. Trips right, one receiver out to the left. Onside in the backfield with Aidan Anderson. Anderson snaps the ball, looking left. He'll throw over towards the left. The man, they'll pitch it off to Onside, who's down the sideline. 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Evart. Gives them a 26-20 lead here with 13 seconds remaining in the first half. We saw a very similar play last weekend against Houghton Lake. This time it goes into the end zone. And what a big blow to Harrison right before halftime. Colin Hamp in the backfield all by himself. Two wide receivers on each side. Colin Hamp motions his receiver left to right. Hamp keeps it, runs it up the middle, moves out to his left, and gets Matt. Ball comes loose. Evart recovers it. And what a big hit on Colin Hamp. And it's Wildcats football here with 9:26 to go here in the first quarter. And Colin Hamp is down. And it looked like he ran into a wall on that play.
For an illegal formation.
So it'll be first and goal now at the 8. 7:36 to go here in the second quarter.
8-yard line of the Hornets.
Trying to pull within one here if they can find the end zone. Cade Morgan, one of the receivers out wide. Brennan Magnuson, the other out wide. Cameron Swills in the backfield with Aidan Anderson. Anderson snaps the ball, fakes it off to Swills. He'll throw it over the middle. He's got a man caught. Touchdown, Wildcats. And makes it 14-13. Here was 7:06 to go in the second quarter. Clock will stop momentarily as the chains reset. 2:30 to go here in the first quarter. And this rushing defense continuing to struggle for the Wildcats here this season. That has been the glaring issue with this team. Going forward, if they want to make any sort of postseason run, they're going to have to try to figure out how to stop the run, or at least slow it down. Hamp in the backfield, Graham right to the right of him. Motions his tight end left to right. Graham rolls out to the right, and it's picked off across the 45-50 and brought to the ground at the 45. They brought in Sean Scotchulis for his first play at the quarterback. He rolled out to the right, and it was instantly picked off by Noah Vanderlyn, who picked up about 10 yards afterwards. Back-to-back offensive drives for the Bobcats lead to turnovers. And the Wildcats now will start in plus territory. Bobcat territory. They'll set up shop at 1st and 10 at the 45. 54 to go here in the first quarter. Welcome back here on B1039. Evart Wildcats lead it 13-0 over the Houghton Lake Bobcats. 1:26 to go here in the first quarter. Wildcats lining up for their third kickoff of the night. Dyson Onside will do the honors. It has been an eventful night here at Osceola Fairgrounds. Wildcats have done explosive play after explosive play all night long. Here we go. A little bit of a trickery here. Onside kick here for the Wildcats. Can they come up with it? And it looks like they do. Wildcats recover the onside kick. And they'll start up shop at the 45-yard line. Man, oh man, there was no need for the onside kick there, but when you're up as much as you are this early in the game, it doesn't hurt to work on things. 6:28 to go here in the fourth quarter. Harrison just taking the lead, making it 42-41. Two-point conversion, however, was unsuccessful. So if I was Evart and I find the end zone, I'd be trying to go for two. Not that it matters a whole lot if they complete it and Harrison goes down and scores again, but. So here we go, lining up for the kickoff here. And we got our first normal kick of the game. I think Magnuson will fair catch it right around the 20.
Magnuson calls
for the first time tonight, there's no onside or squib. Forgot what a normal kickoff looked like for a little bit there. 6:26 to go now as Evart will start with the ball at the 22-yard line. First and 10, going right to left, and this is a big offensive drive. If Evart can't come away with points here, it's going to be another one of those that they're going to have to rely on their defense, and that is something I wouldn't have a whole lot of faith in. So here we go. Aidan Anderson in the backfield. Cameron Swales back there with him. Trips right, one receiver out to the left. Anderson snaps the ball. He's looking right. He'll throw a screen out to Swales, and he slips, and that's a loss in the backfield there. Quite a bit. I'm gonna mark him at the 15. So for her 2nd and 17 coming up here for Evart. 6 minutes to play in the game. Gotta look for better quality passes than those screen plays, especially when the ball isn't right to him. It's kind of a floater. Anderson in the backfield, Swales back there, trips right. Anderson snaps the ball. He's looking right. He throws right. He's got a man. It's Lucas Johnson at the 30, and it's brought down just short of the first down line. Clock will stay running. Marked down officially at the 30. It'll only be 3rd and short coming up here. 3rd and 2 officially. 5:30 to play. You don't want to give Harrison an opportunity to try to stop you on 4th down. You got to remember, you got to play it cleanly too. It is something Evart has struggled with here this half. Anderson in the backfield with Swales to his right. Anderson snaps the ball. He's going to keep it. He runs it up the middle. He's got enough for the first down as he crosses the 35 and down at about the 37-yard line. So under 5 to play. We'll stop momentarily. And now we'll go. 4:55 to go. And now some whistles come in as we are going to get a...
That's good for Evart, first down.
Timeout of some sort. Quick officials timeout. Not quite sure what it was about, but anyway. Now we're ready to go. Clock ticking now, 4:45. I think this is going to be very similar to how the McBain game ended, where they're going to try to give Anderson the ball in the final seconds. 2 wide receivers on each side. Swales in the backfield. Anderson trying to guide his offense to victory. Anderson snaps it, pump fakes, throws over to the right, and he's got a man. He's trying to wrestle his way for more yardage. Lucas Johnson gets brought down about a yard shy of the sticks, and should be 2nd and short coming up here for the Wildcats. Going back to that chrome route where they pick up some decent chunk yards every play.
That'll bring up 2nd down and the yard to go for Evart.
About 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1. We looked at it. 2nd and 2, I'm going to say. Out the 45, Anderson in the backfield with Swales. 2 wide receivers out to the right, 1 out to the left. Anderson snaps the ball, keeps it himself. He runs it towards the right side, gets enough for the first down.
Anderson on the carry.
And he'll be down officially at the 48. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Wildcats coming up. 3:44 to play in the 4th.
Latunski on the tackle. That is good for Evart, first down.
Ball placed at the 48. Anderson in the shotgun. Swales back there with him. 2 wide receivers on each side. Swales to his left. Anderson snaps the ball. He's looking right. He guns it to the right. That's Lucas Johnson. And he's trying to stretch for some more yardage. Picked up about 7 yards. Play stepped out of bounds at the 45, so it'll be 2nd and 3 coming up here. as they are in plus territory now. 3:14 to play. 2nd and 3. Aidan Anderson trying to guide the Wildcats to a go-ahead touchdown here. Now we got an official, now we got a timeout here called by Harrison. It will be the first of the half. They got 2 remaining. We're going to take a 30-second timeout ourselves. 3:14 to play here in the game, 42-41. We got some exciting football coming up when we come back. You're listening to B1039.
Your hometown, family-owned propane company, QB Propane, would like to thank their customers for supporting them for several years. Sacrifice, resilience, and teamwork are all part of what makes tonight's Evart High School football game so exciting.
15.
Supporting local first is what QB Propane is known for. Propane by the tank or prompt service and delivery. Call QB Propane to find out more or to
5 seconds.
989-544-2188. QB Propane.
Welcome back here on B1039. 3:14 to play here in the 4th quarter. 42-41 lead for Harrison, but Evart driving the ball as they got the ball on the 45, 2nd and 3. See what they have in store here. Aidan Anderson in the backfield, 2 wide receivers out to the right, 1 out to the left. Cameron Swills in the backfield right beside him. Anderson snaps the ball, hands it off to Swills, who runs it towards the right side. He's got enough for the first down, brought down just in front of the 40-yard line. A fresh set of downs coming up here for the Wildcats. 1st and 10, Wildcats at the 41. 3 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. Still a long ways to go to the end zone, but Evart driving very slowly. 2 wide receivers on each side. Swills to the left of Aidan Anderson. The motion's out to the left. Anderson snaps the ball. He's looking right, scrambles, moves up in the pocket. He's going to keep it, and picks up about 3 on the play.
Anderson on the carry.
Be 2nd and 7 coming up.
Yeah,
Perhaps a little bit more.
2nd down and about 7 yards to go.
Ball placed at the 38. So perhaps not the style of play that, or the play that Aidan Anderson and Ben Bryant were looking for there. Class pretty quickly. So Aidan Anderson all by himself in the backfield, 2 wide receivers on each side. Anderson snaps the ball. He's looking right. He has to scramble. He evades some pressure as he rolls out to the left. He's going to have to throw it, and he is getting sacked for a loss. Some flags come in after the sack, and he is brought down at about the 47-yard line. We'll see what these penalties are. Aidan Anderson doing his best Lamar Jackson impression as he tried to evade some of the defensive linemen, but the defense for Harrison getting to him before he could turn it into anything. So we wait a call here from the officials. 2:27 to play here in the 4th quarter. Face mask on Harrison. And that is a kick in the gut for the Hornets. As a very costly penalty at this time in the game.
A 5-yard face mask penalty.
So it'll be 2nd and 11 coming up here now. Ball at the 42. 2:18 to play here in the 4th quarter. Wildcats taking their time. If they score, they don't want to give Harrison a chance to try to regain the lead. Appears there's some confusion down on the field. And now we got a timeout coming in. Everett's sideline. Some confusion going on down on the field. Anyway, we're going to take a 30-second break. 1:54 to go here in the 4th quarter. 42-41 lead. That's some dramatics coming up here. Listen to B1039. 1:54 to play here in the fourth quarter. Evart with the ball. The second 11 at the 38. Very similar ending to what we saw in McBain, where Evart fell just short of knocking off McBain's undefeated season. So now, down by 1, Aidan Anderson has a chance to redeem himself here. Aidan Anderson in the shotgun. Like Dershide in the backfield as well. Trips right, receiver out to the left. Anderson snaps the ball. Looking right, he's got some pressure. And Anderson stays on his feet. Anderson rolling out to the right. He throws the ball down the sideline, and it's caught. They're gonna say he is in bounds. What a job by Aidan Anderson to evade the pressure from the defense. And connects with his man Cameron Swales on the sideline. And that's a fresh 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Man, oh man, 1:41 to play. What a big pickup there for the Wildcats, as they are trying to become the last ones to score here in this game. Aidan Anderson in the backfield, trips right, receiver out to the left. Cameron Swales to his right as well. Anderson motioning Swales out to the right. So 4 wide receivers out to the right now. Anderson snaps the ball. He's gonna keep it, runs it, takes it up the middle, across the 20, and brought down just in front of the 15. So it's gonna be 2nd and short coming up. Clock ticking though. 1:30 to play here in the fourth quarter.
Harrison on the tackle. Second down and about 4 yards to go for Evart.
2nd and 4 officially. With the ball at the 17-yard line. 1 minute, 10 seconds to play. Aidan Anderson trying to lead these Wildcats to victory here. Clock approaching 1 minute. Swales in the backfield. Anderson snaps the ball. He rolls out to the right. He's going to keep it. Trying to find the first down marker. He's got enough for the first down, it looks like, at least from up here. And they're going to give it to him.
Fair on the tackle. That's good for Evart, first down.
So 53 seconds remaining. Clock telling to roll. And the Wildcats got to start moving him a little bit. With the ball at the 12. Anderson in the backfield, Swales to his left. Tight end motioning right to left. Anderson snaps the ball. He's rolling out to his left. He's going to keep it. Cuts in towards the middle, across the 10, and makes his way maybe up to the 5. 25 seconds to go here. Not a whole lot of urgency coming from the Wildcats here. 20 seconds to go. I don't really know what the Wildcats are doing here. 13 seconds to go. And now they're going just, hey, spike it. Not quite sure what's going on. 7 seconds to go. And Anderson's got to hurry. Anderson spikes it, gets the ball down with about 2 seconds. I don't know what was going on there on the Evart sideline. They killed about 25 seconds with 1 timeout remaining. I mean, that bit of a questionable decision there by Ben Bryant.
For Evart.
So it's going to be up to Aidan Anderson and the Wildcats. 1 play to decide the outcome of this ball game. Harrison leads it 42-41 with 2 seconds remaining on the clock. Where the ball is on the field don't quite matter, as they got the ball. They'll start it with the ball at the 6. So it's do or die for the Wildcats. Can they come through? Aidan Anderson fell just short a couple weeks ago in McBain as time expired. Can he redeem himself? The crowd here in Harrison getting up for their team. They're going to line up for the field goal. Dyson Dershide for the win, and now a timeout coming in as they try to ice the kicker, and Dershide getting excited for that. I forget that the Wildcats have a guy who can kick. We'll keep it right here. So Dryson Derscheid, at least for now, they're looking like they're going to go for the game-winning field goal, which would put them up on top. Dryson Derscheid, the left-footed kicker with a ton of power. He's missed one PAT today, but definitely has the power. This is going to be about a 16-yard field goal attempt. And here we go. For all the marbles, 2 seconds to go. Dryson Derscheid lining up for the field goal, his biggest kick of his career. The ball is snapped, the ball is down, the kick is up, and the kick is good! The Wildcats walk it off here in Harrison and win it 44-42. Dryson Derscheid nails the field goal. My, oh my. Once down 14-0, came all the way back, held a big 2-possession lead. Harrison comes all the way back. Some confusion late in the game, and the Wildcats kick a game-winning field goal. Dryson Derscheid, the hero for tonight's game. Field goal is something you don't see quite often here at the high school level, at least in Division 7. And man, oh man, what an exciting game tonight. 44-42 is our final here in Harrison, Michigan. Wildcats walking it off against the Hornets. Thanks again for joining me again this week. Let's start with the play that secured you and your boys a spot in the playoffs. Dryson Derscheid nailed a 16-yard field goal with 2 seconds left on the clock to win the game against Harrison 44-42. How important is it to have a guy like him where you can depend on him in those situations, especially at a level where not everyone has a great kicker like Dryson is?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great tool for us on offense. If we get stuck in the red zone in important spots like that where we either don't have time or don't have the ability to punch it in against the team, we can get 3 points. And Dryson's been basically automatic for us this year, and that's those positions. He had a game winner last year for us also, and we just know that the pressure does not get to him when it comes to kicking. Like, he thrives in that, he dreams about that, and never lets the situation get too big for him.
I mean, props to you. I think you pretty much had everybody, including myself, juked out into what you were going to do there. I have known all season long that Dryson's been a good kicker, but even in that moment, I forgot that you had Dryson as a kicker. And so, I mean, it was a lot of fun to watch. And, coming up against North Muskegon, we'll get into North Muskegon and how they are, but I mean, do you expect to use them on a little bit more field goal attempts, especially if trips to the red zone stall out? I mean, you haven't had as many stall outs over the last couple of weeks, but there's been times throughout this year where you guys have stalled out in the red zone, and in the playoffs, I mean, you're going to need points.
Yeah. Our offense is really good, but it gets a little clammed up when we get down inside the 10-yard line. Our running backs are not real big guys. And so to put their head down and just burst through is not kind of their forte. They're more speed and hit the edge with some power and then just use their quickness inside. With our struggles there, we've kind of went away from going to field goals because we want to score points for the regular season. But like you said, you get into tight games against good teams like Harrison and who we'll see this week with North Muskegon, and you got to take the points when you get the chance.
Another big thing, a big part of the game last Friday night were penalties. Multiple penalties that killed drives, but also other penalties that it didn't matter as much because you guys scored on what felt like the very next play. I mean, however, it's not always going to be that easy for you guys to score, on that next play or two. I mean, how does one fix an issue as this? And has it been becoming a bit of a concern for you as of late?
The penalties are always things that drive coaches nuts. I think I think that there were a few calls that were kind of phantom, but they're both phantom on both sides of the ball. I think that if you talk to Harrison's coach, they would say the same thing about some of the calls on them last week.
Mm-hmm.
The penalties, they need to be cleaned up, but we went back and watched them with our guys on the plays that they went, and it was kind of something that, that could be called on every single play, but they just happened to call it on that play. Right. So I'm not too worried about it. In the playoffs, you typically get a little bit more well-trained and how about this? Just better officiating too.
Yeah.
Which sure helps.
That's true, because they definitely go down to a bit of a rating system when it gets to the playoffs. One of the most impressive performances I saw from you guys last week was the way the defense stepped up after falling down to 14-0 deficit early in the game. What adjustments did you guys make early in that game? Because when Harrison went out for their third possession, the defense looked completely different and even more so dominant.
I don't know if I'd ever call our defense this season dominant by any means. I mean, we won the game, but we gave up 42 points for crying out loud. So, but there were some minor adjustments, but really it was more of a mental state adjustment than it was, moving guys around or calling a different style of defense. It was just kind of getting them mentally in the game a little bit more. We kind of started the game a little slow, but we were missing one of our key contributors to the season, and really two of them for that first quarter. I think it had the guys a little bit down, and man, we put ourselves into a big hole that we didn't need to be in, but I was proud of us for persevering through.
Yeah, and heading into this week against North Muskegon, last year they were a team that were, they fell to Menominee, after a deep run in the playoffs. I mean, what do you guys have to do to prevent falling down deep into a hole? Because we saw a game like last week similar to the game in McBain. I mean, you guys fell short of tying the game late. Last week you guys came through, you won the game. How do you keep it so you're not falling into those holes deep, and you guys can just at least not keep pace, but maybe set your own pace to the game?
You're exactly right. It's gonna be important that we come out kind of like we did against Houghton Lake and set the tone right away. North Muskegon's a good football team. I don't know if they're the best football team we've seen this year, but they're a darn good football team. And you can't let good football teams get out ahead of you right away, and they're not gonna, let you come back into it. So it's gonna be really important that we set the tone immediately.
Yeah, and now moving on to this week. I mean, first off, congratulations on leading your first team into the playoffs. I mean, how does it feel to have clinched that first postseason berth, and what about this season has really stuck out to you?
It felt great last week. It not only felt great because it kind of secured us for sure being in instead of being on the bubble. But it felt good for our kids to beat a really solid team and kind of do it without one of our main dudes out there also. So that was awesome. And as a coaching staff, it was great. It was great to see the seniors step up, and some new leaders kind of come through too.
You guys play North Muskegon, a team that has been, as we just mentioned, they've been one of the better teams in Division 7 this year. I mean, they entered Friday night's game 8-1 on the season, and their only loss was a 1-point loss to Pewamo Westphalia, who's another really good team in this division that bounces between 7 and 8. I mean, what's one big thing that you feel like this team as in your team has changed since last year's first round loss to Muskegon Catholic?
We're a little bit more dynamic in the run game this year than we were last year. Last year, we still threw the ball really good. Obviously, we set some state record stuff last year with our quarterback. But the added running from our quarterback this year is huge. Also, it looks like we're going to have good weather on Friday. And last year, with our style of offense, if you get rain, snow, sleet, and it's coming down sideways, makes it awful hard to throw the ball around. And that's what happened to us last year. And the weather looks good this year.
So looking at the tape, North Muskegon is an offense similar to what you guys run. A lot of scrambling, a lot of short throws with the occasional deep ball. Your defense hasn't seen the pass a ton this year, but when they do, they've been pretty successful. That's including 6 interceptions and 3 fumbles. I mean, is this something where, and I know most of the guys that play offense are also on defense, but you guys try to run a practice squad of your playbook to help simulate what your defense is going to see on Friday night?
Yeah, not saying that we can replicate the bodies that North Muskegon has and the athletes that they have, but replicating their plays is really easy, like you said, because our offenses are so similar. They run all the same formations that we run, a lot of the same run scheme also. So, us trying to run a scout team wing T is tough for us compared to running a scout team spread. Mm-hmm. So that's been helpful this week.
Yeah, for sure. And, lastly, Evart historically, and this is dating back to 2005, which is the furthest back I could find. But the school in itself has played 2 games against Muskegon teams. It's an area that's always been really good at football. Evart is 0-2 all time with losses against Montague, and of course last year with Muskegon Catholic. I mean, how does your boys get the first win against a Muskegon team all time and then go into next week facing a team that you are we don't know what that team would potentially be, but it's going to be a team that you guys are familiar with and, potentially start a deep run into the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't know if, it's a Muskegon team has anything to do with it. I think that has very little to do with it. I think the fact that those were 2 pretty solid teams that we saw. And when you get to the playoffs, you're going to see solid teams every single week. Obviously next week, if we're good enough to get through this week, next week would be a game 2 against either one of the teams from the other side of the district.